Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Weekly Wildcat and episode 2 here in our podcast studio. My name is Brian Kice, your host. To my left is this week's co host, Lily Buendia, and to my right is All American softball player for the Linfield Softball program, Ashlyn Aven. Ashlyn, thank you so much for being here, being our second guest on the Weekly Wildcat. We're going to run through some questions with you real quick to get us started on our first segment, Round the Bases. So, Ashlyn, first easy question for you. You've done this a million times. What is your name? Where are you from? Your year and your position.
So my name's Ashlyn Aven. I am a catcher senior here at Linfield. I'm from a little tiny city in Washington called Roy. Nobody really knows about it, but it's kind of a farm town, and yeah, it's where I'm from.
Very nice. So we're going to bounce questions off you. We're going to alternate. Lily and I are. Lily, you've got a first question. Why don't you go ahead and ask?
Coming to Linfield, I just heard about you've played multiple positions. Now you're catching. You've caught every single game this year. So, overall, how many positions have you played in games here?
I've played. I have to name them out because it's a little confusing. I played a little bit of first, but not really in a game here. But that was just I came in as a first baseman, third baseman, but my biggest position was third base coming in, and I mostly played there. And then Jackson was like, I see you as a catcher. So I'd never caught in my life before coming here, ever. I played every other position before coming here. He was like, yeah, you look like a catcher to me. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. Now here I am, I'm catcher. But even last year, I pitched for most of my life, and we were down on the pitching staff, and I offered to him that I could pitch. And so I pitched a little last year. And so, yeah, I think I played 4 or 5 positions here.
Going off of that, you played a lot of DP as well. So what was that switch like? I know you took a couple of years off of playing in the field because you were really on the depth chart of such a great team there. But now you go from hitting almost exclusively to playing a position. What has that adjustment been like for you?
It's been really interesting because last year when I was a DP the whole year, I was just happy to be there. I was really happy that I could find my role on the team. It gave me a lot of new perspectives that I just need to fill in where I can and be a part of the team where I can. This year being a catcher, and I've never done it in a game before, so it was really interesting to have all that pressure put on me at first. But I kind of learned to love it because I'm involved in every play, and if I weren't to be there, it would be really weird because I've gotten so used to being involved as my pitcher every play, being involved in every play of some sort, and I've really enjoyed it actually. I think that it's definitely suited me really well because I like to be a part of the game and the team as much as I possibly can.
Since you're catching now, I feel like that's a big leadership position already. And from last year with the big senior class, a ton of leaders there.
Mhm.
And this year, just with you and Sydney, what's that going from that big class to now you guys, just that leadership in general?
Last year's class was awesome. They all had their individual roles and they were all really good at what their individual roles were, and they were just really good at leading a team. So I took a lot from them, but I wouldn't say I'm quite the most motivational and inspiring speech guy on the team, but I've learned that I wanted to lead through by example. So by what I do, by how I show things, I pick up my teammates as much as possible. But yeah, that's kind of how I've led it. And then Sydney's done a really good job. She's taken a huge role in being a leader, and she's done a really good job of just showing the younger girls what capital culture really is.
Our next one is a little bit more about Linfield in specific. So why Linfield in the first place?
When I was coming out of college or high school, I mean, I didn't really have an idea of where I wanted to go or what I wanted it to be. And I didn't know if it was gonna be D2, D1, D3, whatever. I was just deciding do I want to play softball? I was like, I can't go without it. I've played my whole life and it would be weird without it. So I finally started looking at some smaller schools because I just didn't want to go too far. I want to be close to my parents and closer to home. So I found Linfield, never heard of it before, but then I was like, oh wait, they're good. I saw their record because a lot of records aren't very good for a lot of smaller schools. So I want to be on a team that was good. That was kind of my priority. And then they were somewhat close to home, so 3 hours was perfect. Not too close, not too far. And I came to campus and immediately I fell in love with it. It was really pretty. I love the buildings. I like how close it was. And I just fell in love with the team. It was obviously capital culture is huge and you can feel it. It's just an intense feeling when you're around them.
Going off of cat ball culture, that's a big thing on our team. Everybody knows it's huge. What's your favorite part about cat ball culture? Any little traditions or things before the game?
there's nothing like it. Like, the traditions are crazy. Like, stuff that's been going on for, I don't know, 10, 15 years probably. And it's just like a normal thing that we do on game day. But I think capital culture is huge because you could see a girl who has never seen the field before in her senior year, and she's still the first one to be up in the dugout cheering like crazy because they're just so in love with the fact that she's on a team that's doing so well and just loves to play together. Everybody on the team loves to play softball, and everybody on the team is going to work hard because that's just what it is. That's what we do. But yeah, that's pretty much what sums it up.
Yeah.
You guys spend so much time around each other. What has it been like to build up relationships both on the field but then also off the field?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. For example, we on Monday we won the dodgeball tournament after we had like a 4-hour film session. That just tells you like no matter how long we are together at practice or during games and stuff, we still want to see each other after. It's been really fun to like get to know these girls and to see what they are outside of softball.
For sure. A little bit like away from that, like you've traveled a lot, like you've been here for 4 years, you've gone to a lot of places. Like, what has been your favorite softball trip to go on?
There was one, I think it was last year, junior year, we went to Cal Lutheran. Prettiest field I've ever been on. It's so pretty. And we also played Laverne and all those guys on their Whittier. I was just one of the funnest trips because like we found out how good we were, and that was when we started like really rack up our home runs last year. That was a lot of fun. In that trip, I think we went to Disney, so that adds to it.
There's no question right now that you're one of the best hitters in the country, numbers wise. There's no walking around that. You probably don't carry that going into games, but what is your mentality when you step into the plate?
My mentality is like, you'll see me do really good in spurts. I do really good one day, and then like the next day I don't do so good. My mentality is to go up there with the same exact confidence every time, whether I had to strike out in the last at bat or not. I go up there with that same confidence, like I'm gonna ball and I'm gonna do my best and I put the best swing on them, like my pitch. So,
And with that like confidence that you had that you're going up with, like, have you always had that, or is that just something like that came to you? Because I mean, watching you play, like I kind of talked to you earlier about like you don't wear a face mask, and like in softball, that's kind of like intimidating. So like, is that something that you just like decided to do, or like something that?
no, coming in here, I thought it was really good, and I got humbled like really quickly. And I had a lot of learning to do, like mentally and physically. And so freshman sophomore year was kind of like more of a learning journey for me. I did not have that much confidence, and Jackson would put me in a lot as a pinch hitter. You could just see it. Like I'm a completely different person now than I was. But coming into the summer before my junior year, I was like, I need to do something different because I'm not confident. I'm not happy. So I took the whole summer basically like getting tons of reps and hitting a ton. Like that's what I was going to do probably was hit. So I took a ton of reps and I hit a lot, and that got me the confidence in my swing. Came into fall and I told Jackson, I was like, I'm confident, I'm happy with my swing, and like I'm ready to see where it goes. And that got me to where I am today.
Yeah.
Really, what about being an athlete at Linfield is unique? You talked about coming here not really knowing it, knowing anything about the school, but now that you've been here for a while, what have you kind of realized about being a student athlete at the D3 level and at Linfield about you being unique?
Yeah. Well, what's cool about being here at Linfield is I can do really like any of the classes that I want. I can be whatever major I want, and it works with my schedule for softball. For example, I'm a minor in ceramics, and that's been a huge part of my time here at Linfield. I have really enjoyed being in our building, and I've gotten so many girls to go in there and take classes, but a lot of people shy away from it because it's a long class. But here at Linfield, like you can do that, and you can play softball, and it's a lot of fun to go out there and try those things. But being a part of Linfield is just really cool because it's a pretty small community. Almost everybody knows everybody, no matter if you're an athlete or not. It's really cool because I feel like I have a lot of friends outside of softball, and I wouldn't get that at other places. So,
do you have any future plans, Linfield based or afterwards?
I'm actually a science major, education major, so I plan is to teach, and whether that's PE or art or something, that's my plan to do that, and I plan to coach as well. Next summer, I'm going to be getting married to a baseball player here, Kice. That's a lot to think about right now, so I couldn't do it this summer. And yeah, I'm really excited for the future, actually. It'll be fun. I'm excited to coach. I'm excited to keep teaching people things that they love.
What are you going to teach?
The plan is to do PE or art. I can't really decide, but I can also go into science if I want to. But yeah.
That's good. Well, that's going to wrap things up. We've gone from first to second to third and all the way home here on our first segment. Ashlyn, thanks so much for being here as our second guest on the Weekly Wildcat. That's going to wrap things up on our first segment. We'll be right back with more. Once again, we want to say thanks to Ashlyn Aven for coming in for our first segment of this episode 2. We're going to take a look at the rundown from this past weekend as well as what's going on around the Northwest Conference on Linfield's campus this coming weekend. First, track headed down to Monmouth in Western Oregon for a duel with the Wolves this past weekend. They're having a great season on the track and field side of things, Lily. That should be a fun one.
I know, I'm excited.
Also, men's and women's tennis faced off against George Fox this past weekend. Men were in Newburgh. Women were right here in McMinnville. That was also a very, very good matchup on the tennis courts. But softball hosted Lewis and Clark in a marquee matchup at Del Smith Stadium. You guys had a really fun time with that. It was a great series.
Yep.
A lot of fun things going forward as the season continues.
Yeah, I think it was a big turning point for the season for sure.
As baseball traveled to Whitworth this past weekend in a very important conference series. It was a great one, as those are the two teams to watch going forward in the Northwest Conference. It's going to come down to the final week of the season here on the Northwest Conference. The baseball side of things as well. Lacrosse also had the Battle of the Wits this past weekend as they went to Walla Walla to face Whitman, and the next day went to Spokane to face the Pirates. That's what happened this past weekend. It was a great weekend of sports, as always, here around McMinnville. These teams are really heating up here in the spring. As April 12th as well, women's and men's golf also hosted the Wildcat Invitational, the first golf tournament in McMinnville this season. Lily, it's been fun to watch the golf team go about their business. They're having a lot of success this season. And I think it's really played a factor as to playing on their home turf, their home course. It was really good for them.
Yeah, I think it changes the culture here a lot in the golf world.
Absolutely. Men's and women's tennis also played Lewis and Clark on the 12th. And as they split those two series, once again, the men were here in McMinnville. Lewis and Clark hosted the women's side of things in Portland. That was a great game. And then, of course, baseball and softball wrapped up their series on the Sunday. That's everything that had happened this past weekend. Again, it was a great weekend of sports, as always, here in McMinnville and around the Northwest Conference. Things are starting to heat up, as does the weather. But looking ahead, the midweek action as track and field again has the Northwest Conference duels today in Newburgh. And this coming weekend, Lily, it's going to be a big one. A lot more action here the next couple of weeks as track will be in Portland at the Larry Byerly Invite, as Lewis and Clark will host that one. We're hearing their names a lot here in this week of the Weekly Wildcat. But you will travel to Tacoma to take on the Lutes. Again, you talked about the really important series against Lewis and Clark. What is this series you think is going to happen in this PLU series?
Yeah, I mean, the series with Lewis and Clark is for sure big, and it's kind of a three-man race right now between Lewis and Clark, us, and PLU. So I think whoever wins this series will definitely contribute to who's hosting for the Northwest Conference tournament, and I think that's going to be really big for us.
Very, very big. As year after year after year, those three teams are the ones in the Northwest Conference tournament. I'll be on the call at Roy Hauser Field as baseball hosts the Whitman Blues this weekend on April 18th and 19th. Wildcats continue their push again atop the Northwest Conference tournament. Again, you can catch all Linfield home games on Flow Sports and the LSN. And those games are going to be really fun, as baseball has really been playing very well under first-year head coach Jordan Harlow. And at this point in the season, it's anybody's game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been great to see how him coming in has just changed the culture for sure.
Culture on the baseball field is great, as on the softball field as well. But on April 19th, to wrap things up on our recap and looking ahead, speaking of Northwest Conference tournaments, golf on both men's and women's side of things will be there at the Pumpkin Ridge Golf Course in North Plains, Oregon. And then baseball and softball on the 19th, wrapping up their series. That'll just about do us for us here on the Weekly Wildcat episode 2. Again, we want to say a huge shout out to Ashlyn Aven, our guest for this week. She is having a great season. It's going to be awesome to watch her conclude her senior season. My name is Brian Kice, signing off for our co-host this week, Lily Buendia, and the rest of our crew behind the scenes, always doing a great job. We'll see you next week on the Weekly Wildcat.